Yeah, the final pick this week was Dylan's pick, that being the 2012 film John Carter. Nico, take us away with your favorite film of this week.
Oh, fucking dude, I don't know. So this film is about John Carter. He's from Virginia, which is a funny joke that they make. He's like in the Civil War fighting for the Union, and he gets teleported to Mars, where he becomes a cool warrior guy and saves Mars from the evil, I don't know, like the Vex or some shit, I guess. And then he gets teleported back to Earth, and then he goes back to Mars again.
Fun fact, the author of the book this is based on also wrote Tarzan.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That is a genuinely fun fact. Congrats.
My only note is
Fun
boring.
fact. Yeah, fun fact, the person that directed this movie is famous for all sorts of other awesome movies, like fucking Finding Nemo and shit like that, and this is the first time they directed a live-action movie, and most people are saying that's a massive fucking fumble. Why the fuck did they make him do this massive mega project as his first live-action directed movie? And it shows. This is a very poorly handled movie, it feels like. This shit is so obscenely fucking messy and obtuse. There's so many like moving parts to what feels like such a generic story.
So much of this, I'm watching it, and I'm just thinking to myself, man, I can just so picture the filmmakers like really thinking they had something here. Like they really thought they cooked with this one.
This is gonna be huge.
I mean, they were 100% setting this up to be like another like massive franchise.
Oh,
this is
yeah.
easily supposed to be that. Like, it felt like it was supposed to be some fucking Avatar-esque shit. Unfortunately, the setting is boring as sin. It's way too obtuse for the casual audience, and also the name is under controversy. It was initially supposed to be called John Carter, like, of Mars or something like that, but they wanted to shorten it for the modern audience, I guess, just under John Carter. So a lot of people came in thinking it was like a fucking sports movie, and they looked unsatisfied because of that.
Are you serious?
Or they, yeah, I'm not fucking with you.
That's very funny.
This movie bombed at the box office. This is like the biggest like box office bomb of all time, I'm pretty sure. This lost like $200-something million for Disney. Yeah, and then other people that were fans of the book didn't realize even what it was because it had a different name.
The book is called like The Martian Princess or some shit.
Yeah, they fumbled the fucking marketing of this movie insanely bad. I don't know how the fuck.
Also, it's a book
that.
from like the 30s or some shit. Like, I don't know. It seems ill-advised all around. Here, let's go around the horn here. Give your biggest positive you can give. I genuinely liked our main alien species design and largely how they were handled. I thought it was cool.
I can agree on that. I feel like the effects in this film weren't bad, especially for the age that this came out in.
They weren't bad.
Yeah, they weren't bad at all. You know, I couldn't look at it and be like, man, this CGI looks terrible. I was like, this isn't bad.
This is a mid-2000 film, though. This is like fucking Transformers era.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. I don't think it looks bad. The biggest positive, honestly, this movie's very obtuse, but I think some of the world building is interesting. Like, when they got to the fucking, like, the mega city moving structure bullshit that was going on, I think that's a cool fucking setting. I wish they explored that a bit more, instead of just being in a fucking desert most of the movie. Because that shit looked cool. I wish there was more, like, I don't know, stealthy shit happening there, potentially. Because they had something there. That was, like, the only interesting part of the setting the entire time, and it was fucking rad. The environment design there was pretty fucking neat looking. So like I don't know what the fuck happened there.
Dude, genuinely, why was that civil war between the humans happening?
Like on Earth? I think it was something to do with like
I think it had something to do with states' rights. No, the Martian one. Why were they fighting? Whose side were we? So I mean, I assume we were supposed to be on the blue guy's side.
Yeah.
But why?
You know, it's like mirroring.
It's because one of them is totalitarian and, domineering with violence, so we want to be on the opposite side because they're the underdogs.
Okay.
Duh. What the fuck is the stupid ass shit with the Threns or whatever they're called?
The
Thrax? The stupid bald guy aliens?
Or the Tharks. Oh no, the bald
Tharns?
things? They said they're like messengers of the god. I assume what it was, is there some threat that's being set up in this film that has to be contended with in future films that now don't exist.
There was a lot of wasted time on those fucking things. I think the idea behind them is kind of interesting. It makes me question why they're not just doing things themselves. Like, why the fuck aren't these dudes leading the nation? I guess maybe because they're scared of dying or something, but they still constantly put themselves in scary situations which they could die, so I don't really understand why they're doing that.
They were trying to do the, like, they're, manipulating the powers that be from the shadows. So they're like an allegory for Jews or something.
They're doing a pretty terrible job of that. Fucking John Carter's power of, like, jumping is the goofiest shit ever, too.
Dude, it's because gravity is lower on Mars.
The physics behind it looks so fucking dumb. There's a lot of questionable things that happen, like when he jumped back onto the boat from, like, 100 meters above, probably, and the boat doesn't immediately fucking sink or get smashed in half, or he doesn't break his fucking legs. Like, what's going on here?
Oh yeah,
it's just also really inconsistent with how high he can jump. Like, this fucker can jump, like, just however is convenient to the moment.
Dude, I do also want to give another positive for this film. I like the dog. I think the dog was fun.
The dog is cute and funny.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting to like him. I was going to be rolling my eyes. Oh boy, another marketable fucking pet character or whatever. But I end up I like that he runs really fast. It's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun little quirk. Plus, I didn't really feel like he was, like, super overused.
Yeah.
Like in a lot of ones where they're, like, constantly like, hey, look at this cute thing. No, it was much more of, like, this is just kind of like some character that's part of it.
Why? Why are the Civil War Martians human? Like, I know they have some justification in the plot for it, but why did the people who wrote the movie decide to make them human?
I think it was going to be a big reveal in one of the future films. It was going to be like, oh, we have a common ancestor with Earthlings. We all come from the same thing.
Dude, I think they were going to do something even more gay and do, humans actually started out on Mars.
Maybe it was going to be like the bald people. It's going to be, we place, like, these sorts of, like, races onto, like, each planet because, like, there are surrogates or some shit like that. They're, like, the easiest to control, and, like, they have a lot of potential to do cool shit, I guess. I don't fucking know, something like that.
Was this setting up the Anunnaki?
Maybe.
Is this Pete?
I don't think I have anything else to say about this movie.
Honestly, we talked about this more than I expected us to, so bravo for that at the very least.
We pulled it off, dude.
We're fucking... we would have talked about it for so much longer if Dylan was here, because he is the opposite end of the spectrum from us. We all thought this movie was painfully generic, I'm assuming, and then Dylan thought this was an excellent movie. He almost gave it a fucking S. He gave it an A+.
Dude.
Yeah. And if we have his thoughts recorded, we're going to put it right here.
Whoa.
Alright, this is going to be my review for John Carter. So I remember watching this movie, not often, I would say, when I was younger, but it was definitely a movie I watched pretty frequently, and, I like the plot of the movie. I kind of like the premise it sets up, because obviously you have John, and he's being transported to a war, or a planet with, like, a civil war kind of thing going on, and it's, I don't know if you call it ironic, but basically coming from another planet where he was just, done participating in a war. And so it's kind of him, facing the music, I guess, in a different aspect. I don't think the CGI was too awfully offensive in this movie. Could it have been better? Probably. I'm not really one to judge that. I thought the acting was fairly good in this movie as well. I think the plot made enough sense. There were some plot conveniences here and there, especially the part where they're in the arena and he challenges the one new clan leader guy to a duel and just immediately executes him. But, I mean, I guess that wouldn't be totally out of line. He is shown to be just faster. I would say stronger. That's questionable considering... I think they're called the Thrax or whatever, have shown to be quite strong. So that may be a little inconsistent. But other than that, I like the character building. I like the plot progression. There's not too many plot conveniences, which I can appreciate about this movie. And I kind of like how they did the ending where it was just him setting up like this elongated trap to eventually get back to Mars. The only questionable thing I guess I have about this movie is if so much time passed between him being on Mars and then being transported back to Earth like forcefully. I'm wondering how that translates, and this obviously doesn't matter because there's no sequel and that doesn't matter to the movie. I guess I'm just curious about how much time passes while he's on Earth going back to Mars. But anyway, yeah, I don't really have too much more to say about this movie other than that. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie quite a bit.
We forgot to put his thoughts in the last one.
We can just throw it in somewhere.
And then you can figure it out. Speaking of thoughts, I gave it a C+.
Oh, I'm lower than you. I gave it a C.
Dude, I think you guys are both insane for those rankings. I gave this one a D.
I think it's a very whatever film. I mean, I don't think it's quite that bad. It's like very average, painfully so.
I think it is equally whatever to Santa with muscles.
That is an insane take. I would not agree with that at
I think the length
all.
really doesn't help it.
It is so long. I was bored as balls, but like just from a production standpoint, it blows Santa with muscles out of the fucking water. Obviously.
You're right, but like it didn't like the production value didn't lead to me being more entertained.
I think it's more entertaining to watch the movie than Santa with muscles, just because of the fucking environment design and stuff like that.
I agree with you there. I mean, I wouldn't agree with you there, actually.
There are 4 wolves in this podcast.
3 of them don't like John Carter.
Yeah.
Fucking, what rank did it get, by the way?
C+ overall.
C+ overall, fantastic. I would
C+
just
overall, yeah.
I do just want to say here real quick, guys. At some point during that, I did want to go on a rant about, like I've stated before, I'm just really not a big sci-fi guy when it comes to films, and one of the reasons for that are the names. I feel like oftentimes the names are overlooked in these types of films, and just end up going with really stupid names, like in this film. Bad names for the most part. However, I was also going to link that to fantasy. Also, often has terrible names, and I was going to use, obviously, Harry Potter as an example. Good old J.K. Rowling loves her terrible names, and I was, I was gonna like list a few out, but one of these stopped me and just stunned me. That it's the only one that comes to mind now. Apparently, there's a character named Elpheus Doge in Harry Potter.
When was that character created?
He's in the Deathly Hallows, I guess, too.
That might be late enough for Doge to be a thing.
Maybe. Like, this can't be a reference to Doge, right?
Certainly.
I mean, I think Doge would have been around at that point. Because when did Deathly Hallows come out? Probably like 2014?
Yeah, probably somewhere around there. Anyway.
Actually, I have 2 more things I totally forgot to talk about. The ending of this movie.
Fuck,
the big
I was going to talk about that too.
Shit. Is dumb as shit. It's super fucking corny. Yeah. We're not going to fly. We don't fly. And then they fly as like some big finale epic moment.
I really hope Dylan in his review said, "Oh, I thought that was so cool that they did that."
Nah, it was dumb. And then obviously this was them trying to set up more for like setting up like the world as it is, but like the whole plot of him getting sent back to Earth just to like fuck over one of those guys and then take his necklace and then go back to Mars was convoluted and dumb. It didn't need to happen. Literally the whole plot of him going back at all and having like the fucking dude reading his like biography and that being the way we're learning about all this happening is dumb and didn't need to happen. It was just like pointless. Why? I'm confused. They're trying to like do some more world building with the fucking bald dudes, but like I just couldn't care less. It just felt fucking stupid and pointless. It was completely pointless in the end. Nothing fucking changed.
I mean,
there's one less of those bald guys, but we don't know how many of them there are, I don't think, so who cares?
Presumably, it would have been nice setup for, like, the sequels, where it's like, oh, I've been gone from Mars now for 20 years, look at how much has changed, oh. But, like, from our perspective, not that this didn't do anything.
Yeah, it was totally just a waste of fucking time. Anyways, I didn't change my ranking. C+.
At least there was a sex scene in this one.